This is libertarianism and transaction costs, or in other words, if I own a business, why shouldn't I be able to sell or not sell to whoever I want? Here's the definition of transaction costs. Transaction costs are costs to buy a good in addition to the price of the item. For example, gasoline, car wear and tear, and time to get to the store. Transaction costs are bad. All other things being equal, transaction costs cripple commerce. For example, even if a company revolutionizes the production of good X to make it of amazing quality and cost next to nothing, the company will still go out of business if transaction costs raise the goods price out of the reach of consumers. Here's a quick definition of libertarianism for the purposes of simplicity, and yes, this is overly simplified, but it's still accurate for the purposes of this video. Private consumers and business owners should be able to buy and sell to whomever they want. So in this video, quickly, I'm going to tell you why this sounds very alluring, but ultimately it's a flawed idea. So why is that a flawed idea? Is because libertarianism creates unacceptable transaction costs. And here are three reasons why, three quick hypotheticals. Number one, if I own a business, why shouldn't I be able to sell or not to sell to whomever I want? When a business advertises to the public and does not explain who it will and will not sell to, it forces consumers to waste money on transaction costs. For example, cake company advertises cakes for sale. Gay consumer spends his limited time and money traveling across town only to have cake company refuse to sell gay consumer a cake. Gay customer or gay consumer, I mixed up the name there, now must spend more money on transaction costs finding another cake company. A freedom to discriminate law places the burden of transaction costs on the discriminated rather than on the company doing the discrimination. At a minimum, a company discriminating should be forced to disclose in their advertisements who they will and will not sell to. Here's the second reason why libertarianism creates unacceptable transaction costs. Number two, if a state allows private discrimination against you in a way you don't like, just move to another state. This is often a defense from libertarians and conservatives. Moving to another state requires tremendous transaction costs, including unemployment while finding a new job, finding new schools for children, realtors' fees, and moving costs. State-sponsored religious freedom to discriminate laws unfairly place the burden of transaction costs on the victim rather than those discriminating. In addition, those being discriminated against may lack the means to move, making this quote-unquote alternative not really an option at all. And lastly, the undue burden on innocent bystanders. When a business discriminates, it creates a predictable psychological response of anger and resentment. This psychology inherently leads to protests and boycotts, which are transaction costs. Even people who are not members of the discriminated group suffer, as when they go to a business district, they are forced to see shouting and protests rather than having a peaceful shopping experience.